All right, we have these two players getting started right now. Thank you, Hafor, for subbing to the channel, gifting a subscription. If you're watching on YouTube, you could subscribe for free, just clicking that subscribe button. And if you want to join the live stream so you can catch these races live, you can do so over on twitch.tv/DragonBlitz. And if you follow the channel right now, you will get Fire to remove his mouse from the screen. Otherwise, his mouse is going to stay there the entire race. Oh, hey, thanks for following the channel. I think you guys are right. Fire is cropped wrong? Is that me? That is me. Uh-oh. That is fine. It is fixed. I fixed it. I fixed it. All right. So, we got ourselves an interesting race here. Fire with a small lead. The timers are also a little desynced. That's pretty normal, I feel like. You know, we are streaming this over the internet, so the timer's getting desynced. It'll happen. But yeah, this is our first match of the set. We have Fire, top 3 in the last tournament, I believe, versus JupiterClimb getting second place in the most recent tournament. So these two are pretty much like people who are expected to go very far in this tournament. We're seeing the first preset being Nimble. If you guys don't know what Nimble is, it's essentially a fast track to all of the good movement options available right now. We're going to see gravity jumps. We're going to see the bat movement with wing smashing. These competitors have access to a duplicator, which does lower all their stats, so they have to be careful not to take damage. However, they do have infinite usage of the Buffalo Stars that they started with. Jupiter, go back! That was a library card, maybe. What? Did he miss that? Huh? What the? He wing smashed through the thing, and I think Fire also skipped it as well. The cave had a meal ticket or a library card. That's weird. Iron Shield is the first item dropped. I mean, if neither of them got it, then it's a fair race. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Literally tunnel vision. Literally tunnel vision. You are correct. Oh my god. All right, so we're off to a hot race already, 2 minutes in. I imagine both of these competitors are going to be opting to skip a lot of the item checks in general. Jupiter, a little bit more willing to check items. Because in general, the thing about this preset is that... Jupiter grabs the fire bat, doesn't want that. Or sorry, the bat card. The thing about this preset is you already have really good movement options available at the start. You have really good combat options available at the start as well. Infinite Buffalo Stars is really good. The only things you really want as an item is another throwing star or throwable weapon, as well as library cards. That's basically it. So, and right now, Fire's movement a little bit cleaner than Jupiter. Jupiter dropping a few wing smashes, not taking advantage of his MP 100% efficiently. I think Jupiter needs to warm up a little bit. We saw the same thing happen yesterday in yesterday's race, which was also a Nimble seed. It took a little bit of warming up to get ready. Like, Scrimps looked bad out the gate, but then made a huge comeback versus Razio. So maybe Power of Sire. I think Power of Sire in this preset, low-key kind of overrated. You already got 2 Buffalo Stars. That's enough for, like, that's top tier equipment, or it's at least 1 Buffalo Star. If you get a second one, it's like 2 Buffalo Stars is enough to completely obliterate everything in the game. We have Fire's lead. Let's see what we find down here. Looking pretty significant, though. Looking pretty significant. Ooh, Merman statue. Yeah, you definitely want to grab that just in case. I would be shocked if anybody skipped Merman. Since it's layer 0, it means that whatever's behind Merman is essentially random. It's like you get 2 skips in 1, if you think about it. You're skipping grabbing this, and you're skipping Merman, which is likely just nothing. So, you know, knowing the propensity for skipping relic locations that a lot of these competitors like to do, I wouldn't be surprised if the new meta is skip layer 0 Merman, because why not? Because that check is quite slow. Going all the way to the holy symbol location and riding the boat, it's like 40 seconds or something like that. Minimum. So I wouldn't put it past these competitors to have that kind of logic. Fire 430, Blaze It. Getting to this door, I imagine Jupiter is also going to be following the same route. So let's see the time difference. We're looking at About a 10-second difference. Okay, so not a massive lead, but 10 seconds in the first 4 or 5 minutes could start bleeding into larger time save overall. So, like a fox, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Much appreciated. Enjoy your ad-free viewing experience on the twitch.tv/DragonBlitz channel. Nothing in Coliseum. Yeah, I imagine these two are likely going to have the same start. This is the classic clockwise start to Nimble. The idea being that you can get a lot of checks done very, very quickly if you go clockwise around the castle. So going up through Alrox's quarters, checking the 2 Alrox quarters locations. Obviously, you full clear Alchemy Lab while you're there. You full clear Marble Gallery while you're there. You can peep what's at Coliseum by just walking in and checking the relic, and then you can leave if it's nothing, like these players have done. After Alrox's quarters, then you have Castle Keep. You go through the chapel to get to Castle Keep. Keep has 3 checks, and then you can do from there. You could warp somewhere if you need, like if you find Jewel of Open, for example, you can warp back to Alrox's quarters and then go to the caverns. You could also continue through Ring of Ares. That does help Jupiter. He basically has 0 defense anyway, so that random drop will increase his damage if he decides to put that on. 24 extra strength is a pretty big deal. Even though the Buffalo Star does a lot of damage already, but that could mean the difference between, like, you know, every boss fight being slightly faster or not. Jupiter opts not to put it on. He says, my damage is good enough already. It's fine. 621 for the level up on 629. Okay, Jupiter made up 2 seconds. Jupiter is starting to catch up a little bit. That 10-second lead is now only 8 seconds. Spike Breaker also layer 0. Interesting. So the thing is that the minimum complexity for Nimble is 6. So anything that they find that is available without any additional relics from their starting equipment and their starting relic set is essentially layer 0, which means they're looking for a progression relic at layer 0, and that starts the complexity chain. And they just found it right here, Jewel of Open. So now anything that is blocked by Jewel of Open would be considered the next layer in the complexity chain, and they need to get to 6 of those steps. Thank you, Zengetsu, for the 17 months, by the way. Appreciate the support on the channel. Yeah, I'm curious to see what... Fire gets hit by a crow. Those crows are quite difficult to deal with oftentimes, not going to lie. The race is still close. Let's go ahead and, for now, Fire's lead has been pretty substantial. Let's listen in to Fire's perspective. Pretty decent fight. Is going for the skip here. You want to wing smash to grab the heart, the life max up, and you'll continue your wing smash through to the next room. If Jupiter gets this, he's back in this. Oh, he barely misses it as well. I think the best way to set it up is to actually start from farther back to make sure that you can actually grab it, but it's tough. It's a genuinely very tough skip. So both of them going for it, it means that they are playing serious. They are trying to get as much time save as possible. But it is one of those things, if you miss it, you lose out on some extra time, as opposed to just grabbing it normally. So there is some risk reward there. And it's Ring of Vlad. Okay. Our first Vlad relic has been found. The more random Vlad relics, these are considered random Vlad relics because they can just happen to be anywhere. Anything that's like layer 0, essentially. Anything that isn't the final layer Vlad relic is just random in its location. So you want to find as many random Vlads as possible early game, so that way you can have more confidence in your routing late game. Oh, Jupiter drops a wing smash, cleans it up with a quick gravity jump into transformation. That's one of the things I really do like about this preset is even if you make small mistakes early on, you can make up for those mistakes because you have so many movement options available to you already. Honestly, I would consider grabbing that that block-a knife. Because I don't think these players have found an extra throwable. You just double jump onto that ledge real quick and grab it. It's like, you know, it's better than nothing, right? It's better than literally one throwing star when you have to fight someone like Galamoth or Shaft or Dracula. Like, those are enemies that or bosses that you really want multiple throwing weapons available for. Ooh, Fire opting to skip grabbing the monster vial there. Will that bite him in the ass? Let's find out. Jupiter's probably going to grab it. Oh, no, Jupiter also skips it. Okay. Neither of them doing attic checks. They're playing very similar right now as far as the number of checks and stuff like that. The only main difference is that Fire had just a cleaner start and has been holding on to that lead this whole time. Wow. This is really just a pure test of execution now because they're basically doing the same route too. You love to see it. Oh, Jupiter gets an unfortunate level up off of a Medusa head? That's weird. Very weird. Jupiter opting to do a couple of extra item checks. Gets the Aquamarine. Fire did not do that. That money might come into play if Fire doesn't have enough money to afford like a library card in the shop or something. But yeah, Jupiter is just doing a couple more extra checks, but that's enough time for Fire to get a massive lead. We got 10:36 on the clock. Opening the red door going to this warp. Let's see what Jupiter gets. Jupiter going the wrong way, and then remembers to do this. Okay. "20 seconds. Almost exactly 20 seconds behind. And Fire is skipping the library. Ooh, this could be big. This could be big. I don't know if Jupiter's going to check the library or not. I mean, they both grabbed the warp to come back later. So if Jupiter goes to the library right now, this will be the... Oh, no, Jupiter's also skipping library. Interesting. Okay. Both players opting to skip library. This is some new tech in general. Jupiter opted to skip grabbing that Power of Sire, but Fire did grab that. So right now, Fire did lose a little bit of time for that extra item check, but he's still so far in the lead. Very interesting that they both opt to skip library here. I think it is probably the correct play, considering that library is all layer 0 checks outside of the Soul of Bat location. And the odds of Soul of Bat being available by just going into the library is very low, because they already found Jewel of Open. So most likely, Jewel of Open is just the next place they need to go. And if there are any random Vlads there, they can come back for it later, especially if they find a library card. So we'll see. Yeah, they're going to wait to find Mist first before they come back. It's good routing. It's a good routing decision in general. I like the idea. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. So, Dark Metamorphosis. Dark Metamorphosis ×2, giving Jupiter a chance to catch up. Dark Metamorphosis ×3. Talik is out there shaking his fists, telling people, just practice your spell inputs. Shaking the screen. Fire almost loses his whole lead because he doesn't know how to Soul Steal. First try Soul Steal. Jupiter grabs the Garnet, and he made up a decent amount of time from that. I do have Matthias in the chat here saying, it is guaranteed that Jewel of Open is progression. The seed is fully linear if Merman and Spikebreaker are outside of the chain. They were both layer 0, so I'm going to believe you with that. I didn't do the math myself, but I would believe it. Because you are limited to the number of complexity jumps you're allowed to do, because you started with full flight and a transformation. That's 2 of the possible, honestly 3 of the possible progression steps that are given to you at the start. So the number of progression steps that are even possible are more limited in Nimble, which is one of the reasons why like the complexity chain can be a little bit difficult to route, I feel like, compared to other presets. But since they found 2 possible progression relics at layer 0, that lowers the number of possible progression relics that are even left to get to a chain level of 6. So essentially, there's not enough complexity left in the seed otherwise, so everything has to be purely linear from here, is what they're saying. And that makes sense. I think it depends on the progression that you find, Scrimps. Like, if you find Mist, for example, that means you'll be able to more effectively take advantage of your movement in the outer wall, because these players are going to have to backtrack to outer wall anyways, as well, once they find Mist, assuming that they want to check the Soul of Bat location. So, Jupiter's only about 7 seconds behind now, according to Mike in chat. So Jupiter coming back, honestly, from a pretty sizable deficit. It was like 20 seconds, now down to only 7. So that Fire's been in the lead the whole time, but his lead is like kind of shrinking and then gaining and then shrinking. Fire does go for that extra skip. Funny enough, this would be the case where skipping Merman makes sense. I said it at the start of the seed that the new meta is skipping Merman if you find it at layer 0. I'm saying it now. New meta, if you find Merman layer 0, or if you find Merman before you find Jewel of Open, just don't even check it. It's random anyways. It's the same exact logic behind skipping Grand Falloon. It's the same exact logic behind skipping Merman statue. It's the same exact logic behind skipping Creature. It's all the same. It's just a random check. Just skip it. Just skip it, Forehead. And that one's really slow to do. I think it might be faster to do what Fire's doing, which is going to the Merman statue check itself. Jupiter's also doing it as well. This is going to be nothing. In fact, it's specifically going to be a familiar card. Mark my words right now. Because this is always nothing. I'm calling it. I'm calling my shot before I see it. It's nothing. Well, you know, you can't always, you know, sometimes you miss. Sometimes you swing and you miss. It happens. It's fine. Yeah, no, this is 100% required. That's likely the rando ring, or it's shared complexity for both rings, and then Holy Glasses is next in the chain. Jupiter kind of getting messed up, though. Probably widening the gap of this lead. Fire feeling quite confident. Grabs the Garnet, doesn't know what's in the shop yet. Jupiter also grabbing some extra money. Again, we don't know what's in the shop yet, so grabbing money does make sense, especially if it's close by and it's a relatively high value amount. Oh man, Jupiter's movement is just not nearly as crisp. He's dropping wing smashes. He's running into enemies. Interesting. Looking at 1652 exit. They've had basically the same exact route too, which is very interesting. 1652 versus Glasses. Okay, wait a minute, huh? 1706. So about 15 seconds behind. So that was the random ring. Ah, Matthias, you're correct. Okay. That was the random ring, so that means the next ring is in the second castle. It's still worth it to be here, by the way, and check Spikebreaker at the very least, because Spikebreaker is not in logic yet, but you do have the means to check it with just Bat alone. You have to be very careful going through the Spike Room. There you go. Using the Mana Prism for invincibility so you can set up the correct height on that skip, and then you do a downward wing smash and you are safe. Fire, basically flawless execution there. Does these item checks, doesn't find anything. Jupiter, on the other hand, checking Grand Falloon first. Only one random Vlad found, that makes sense. Ooh, Mist is found for Fire. No library card yet, though. So Fire might still check Grand Falloon? If Fire opts to skip Grand Falloon, this is Jupiter's chance to maybe pull ahead here if this is something important. You could get through the room with Spikebreaker, yes. However, it's not in logic to do so. The randomizer logic assumes you don't know the layout of that room. The intended way to get through that room is with Bat and Echo of Bat, the same way that the developers intended for you to get through that room. Because this randomizer is based around a casual experience. It's not based around speedrunning, if that makes sense. Ooh, it's nothing, but also not punished because Fire is doing the same check. I'm pretty sure since they're both going to have to clear both sides, this ends up being net even. Like, there's not one route that's technically better than the other here. I think it might be slightly more optimal to go to Spikebreaker first by, like, maybe a second, based off of, like, the way that your momentum carries. What did Fire just equip? Oh, Power of Sire. Oh. That is going to help out with the boss fight. It's going to be slightly faster than what Jupiter did. Cypher, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Appreciate all the support we've had recently, guys. Uh-oh, Jupiter. Oh, no, he's just going to reset the entire thing. This is big time loss for Jupiter yet again. Yeah, Jupiter's not doing the setup. He's doing the count the wing flaps. Oh, but he miscounted. It's fine. He's in the right setup. Okay, he's good. It happens sometimes. He kept his composure, made it through just fine. Even gets a little bit of health back with that Soul Steal. But here's the thing. Fire is, I think, pretty far ahead now because of that snafu. If Jupiter had the library card, potentially, from Castle Entrance, this would be a completely different race. Jupiter would have a massive lead here. But he literally had the means to go through the cave, but just didn't check the 50-50. Yeah, only one random Vlad has been found yet. Most likely, the progression is going to be that either Silver Ring is Gold Ring, or Silver Ring. It's either Silver Ring / Bat is Gold Ring, or it's the final Vlad. Those are the two options right now. It cannot be Echo, because you need Echo to get to the location that had the Mist Relic. So because of that, either Silver Ring / Soul of Bat is the next progression for these players. It's now a 50-50 whether or not the progression is the Gold Ring that leads to the final Vlad Relic, or it's just the final Vlad Relic outright. So, funny thing is, the other location still has the potential to be a random Vlad as well. So both locations likely are worth checking regardless of what you find. Another random Vlad, however, is found for Fire in the library. Yeah, we haven't seen any of the library checks. This could be important. Another random Vlad found in the library. Rib of Vlad. Well, the odds of both Vlad relics being mist-locked are a little bit lower now. Fire doesn't check the shop. Interesting. Probably hoping to find maybe a library card on the way and then use that to get back to the shop. Oh, Lesser Demon's Revenge. He does jump in the air. That wastes a little bit of time. It takes longer to leave the boss door after he jumps in the air, if I remember correctly. What is Spikebreaker? Is Castle 2? They already have Spikebreaker. It was Layer 0. And that's most likely just Final Vlad, then. It technically could still be Random Vlad. Hear me out. That technically can be a Random Vlad. And the Silver Ring location has Gold Ring. And then the final relic is at the Holy Glasses location. This is still technically possible, but insanely unlikely. Insanely unlikely. Maybe shared complexity Vlad at Silver Ring as well. I guess that is possible as well, yeah. Right? No.
I'm interested in this.
Because... Oh, yeah, it could be. If Gold Ring is in the second castle and then Echo is at Holy Glasses, that's another option. So, yeah, you're right. I wonder how these competitors are feeling, though. Also, what did Fire buy anything in the shop? I didn't pay attention to the shop at all. Flame Shurikens, that's it? No library cards in the shop? Got it. That would be the only thing that's, like, very interesting. Fire exits the library at 23:02. Jupiter's not even checking the shop? Or did he already check the shop the first time? Is he skipping the shop entirely? Am I smoking big? No, he already did. Okay, good. Whew. I was getting nervous. That would be a crazy skip. Man, where's my water? I'm dying. I'm parched. Fire is doing the value play of going to second castle immediately. On Ramir, thank you so much for the prime for 8 months. Fire doesn't know how to soul steal. He might die because he doesn't know how to soul steal. He might kill Richter. Uh-oh, Richter's giving him the hands. He's freaking out. Don't use Power of Sire. Don't use Power of Sire. Okay, never mind. Use Power of Sire. I thought he was going to kill Richter. If you got the bad ending there, how funny would that be? Left side today. Let's see it. Does anyone have the chutzpah, the cojones, to try the left side? I think left side is a valuable possibility. Has anyone gotten the bad ending yet? I think that happened in one of the prelim matches. So Jupiter is still relatively far behind, but did make up a little bit of time because Richter gave Fire a bad time. Fire really needs to practice his Soul Steal inputs. That's what we're learning today. All of the time save that Fire gave to Jupiter, all the time loss that he accrued, was literally missing Soul Steal, and that's it. Everything else he's done incredibly well. If Fire had a 100% Soul Steal success rate, I don't think Jupiter would have a chance. Oh, he's skipping it! He's skipping it! Okay, so what's left on the table then? Because that means Echo has to be at glasses, right? Which means the only way for this to be different, because they're both going right side, of course. Neither of them are getting the warp either. Is for the random Vlad to be shared complexity with at Silver Ring. Which is like a 1 in 11, I think? Or a 1 in 11 at the start of the second castle, because there's 10 locations inside the second castle. Fire drops a wing smash, drops another one. Guess it doesn't matter when you have gravity boots. Creature with Last Vlad, I would laugh. These players haven't skipped any locations except for Silver Ring, correct? Honestly, I expected more. But I guess they didn't skip anything because they didn't do library first. If they had done library first, there's probably potential information to know that there's more to skip. Very interesting. Akmadon down at 27-10. $27-19. Jupiter is catching up a little bit, it seems. Oh, and grabs the Force of Echo. Low-key, kind of a mistake. Gets stuck. These are very tiny movement mistakes, but it is time for Jupiter to slowly catch up. Jupiter skips the relic. Doesn't get stuck here. Okay. It's going to come down to execution for the last... it's going to come down to execution and where the final Vlad is. I think Jupiter's damage is slightly worse because he didn't pick up the Power of Sire. But I could be wrong. I don't know what his like max damage is, like what his plan is for like Shaft, Galamoth, Dracula. Wow, perfect MP management by Fire. You guys might have missed it, but Fire literally had like a sliver of MP left by the time his Mana Prism popped, and it went back to full, and he was able to continue a Wing Smash. It was really good. Both of them are skipping the warp. Interesting. Interesting decision. I guess it makes sense when you assume that the final Vlad Relic is just in the second castle, right? That there's no reason to warp ever. Oh, Jupiter doesn't have the Power of Sire, though, and is having a slower fight because of it. Fire will have to menu to get rid of the Power of Sire and re-equip the Mana Prism, but I don't think that's the same time loss. Uh-oh. Fire drops the lagless setup. Tries to set it back up again. This is a potential chance for Jupiter to catch up. However, Jupiter is known for saying that the lagless Wing Smash setup there is impossible. It's definitely not impossible, but I think Jupiter, yeah, doesn't... He has a decent angle. He might bonk at the very end. Still slightly clean compared to what Fire did, but not nearly as good as the full lagless. clean fight for Fire. I wonder how Jupiter's going to handle this, because Power of Sire is actually putting in a lot of work. And the time it takes the menu is pretty quick. Finds nothing. Left side eating good yet again. Left side gamers, let's just say it now. If you're not even going to grab the warp, then why not just go left side? The whole reason that the right side is even considered standard is because of the warp. Y'all keep skipping the warp, just go to the left side. Five checks versus 4? You can still do the same checks, just at a different time. By the time that these players get to Beelzebub, if you do left side, you can also get to Beelzebub after clearing Galamoth. You just go through castle entrance. The density is almost the same. And you're not going to get clock blocked, so you can just do the alternate route where you go through from here to get to, after doing Beelzebub, to get to Akmadon and then Medusa and then Darkwing Bat. No, I'm saying left side is better with one Vlad left. Oh, we're on the same page? Never mind, Scrims. And they're both skipping creature. Fire with the save split? Huh? Is this what it takes for Jupiter to catch up? Jupiter, don't save. Don't do it. Don't be a baby. Jupiter doesn't save. He saves 10 seconds. He's not in the lead, but he caught up big time. In case it's at creature, if you're going to skip creature with your chest. Don't be a baby and do a half save split. You're already accepting that you lose. Oh, and it's the split, 50-50. Whoever checks it, Jupiter wins. If Force of Echo has the final Vlad Relic, Fire wins if Doppelganger's hiding the last Vlad Relic. You love to see a 50-50 split at the very end. All that other shit didn't matter. It came down. Jupiter, no. Unless. It was neither of them. They were both Wolf Relics. So wait. You're telling me Death, Galamoth, Creature, and Silver Ring are the last locations left. Fire, what are you doing? Fire needs to work on his spell inputs. Oh, Jupiter doesn't know the fast setup. Yeah, no, you don't want to let him jump. If you let him jump, you're just wasting time. See, that's the thing about Force of Echo is it's always at Force of Echo if it's 50-50, right? Because it's never at Doppelganger. What's the fast setup there? You just throw Buffalo Stars on the ground. You have to time it well, though. It's similar to what you do with Vorpal or Crystal Grim. The only downside is if you mistime it, Doppelganger will jump up and be a nuisance. Okay, Fire with, yet again, a relatively small lead. Oh, but Jupiter gets hit, losing possible time save. Looks like 33-10 to enter the door. Oh, Jupiter's dropping a lot of inputs. Spaghetti all over the floor. Have these locations been tested to see if they're biased? The code is open source. We know that they're not biased. Slight lead for Fire still. Final Vlad. He doesn't get the J. Uh-oh. The J will curse him. We are now sitting at a situation where either Creature has the final Vlad, Silver Ring has the final Vlad, or Galamoth has the final Vlad. Unfortunately, I think Jupiter, because he didn't save split, is in a bad spot right now. A lot of bonking going on. Y'all need to run all bosses and learn the proper movement. Jupiter's doing the proper movement. No bonking. Just run all bosses. It's fun. 33% chance that Jupiter kind of just loses, right? No, it's a 66% chance. Oh, Jupiter's saving here. Oh, no. That's rough. Now, big brain. Only way for Jupiter to win, and he's not going to do it, is if Galamoth has nothing and Creature has nothing, and Jupiter opts to immediately go back to the first castle. Fire messes up the setup! He doesn't have Power of Mist! Oh, he dodges like a pro, though! Oh my god! Brother, it's semifinals! Or quarterfinals! Learn the fucking setup! It's 100% consistent! Jupiter, do the setup! Oh my god. I can't. What's the point in doing an entire tutorial video explaining the setup for fighting this guy and no one does it? Jupiter gets lucky. Oh my god, it's... These guys are gonna be in the finals of the tournament. One of them is gonna be in the finals of the tournament. Better tries just get lucky. The setup is faster. Oh, it's not here. Uh-oh. My heart, dude. This is just race number 1. Ah, it's just race number 1. Oh my god. Dude, I can't. Oh, Jupiter loses big time here. It's going to be really funny when it's at Silver Ring, by the way. It's going to be so funny. The fact that it's either Silver Ring or Creature, regardless, means that this seed is amazing for us. Terrible for them, but amazing for us. It's a pure 50-50. It's either at Creature or it's at Silver Ring. Those are the 2 locations left, and they're both possible locations for a random Vlad. What if Creature has the ring? The ring has already been found. Jupiter already has it. Fire does get the best item in the game, Heaven Sword. It can't be at Holy Glasses. Holy Glasses has to have that go. Yeah, Fire with a massive lead here because of that save split, though. Come on. Don't be here. Silver Ring, Silver Ring, Silver Ring, Silver Ring, Silver Ring. Oh, come on. Vanilla? Tooth of Vlad at Creature? I think they forgot to randomize this one, guys. Hold on. I think I'm going to tell the competitors that this one doesn't count because clearly, Mr. Tournament Organizer, that was a vanilla relic. And we're trying to play a randomizer. Therefore... yes, of course, do-over. Must be a do-over. Very funny that the only locations these players chose to skip was Silver Ring and Creature. And Creature wins yet again. Yeah, any seed where anything is at all vanilla is invalid. Exactly. Because then you're not really randomizing now, are you? That's not a real randomizer if you're not making it random. Fire easily wins this unless he, like, super hard throws and dies. He would have to die at Shaft and Dracula somehow, but he has enough damage that it should be, like, so easy. So this is looking like a Fire W for sure. I mean, he played well. What can I say? He played well. Outside of a handful of like movement mistakes, which both players had, which is fine. Outside of not doing the 100% guaranteed setup for Galamoth, that's also faster. You know, that's my only complaint, really. I didn't dunk on Fire for save splitting. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of skipping all of these relic checks in the first place. That's all. I would have won this race because I would have checked Creature. Smiley face. I simply would have checked Creature. Smiley face. That's not true. I would have skipped Creature 100%. No, deadass, I wouldn't have won this race. I would have skipped creature. I'm just being annoying. I would have skipped merman, however. I would have skipped merman and the holy symbol combo. I think that's big brain, personally. I think those locations, if you know it's not a progression relic, just skip it, man. It's so slow. It's like 40 seconds guaranteed time loss. Maybe even more. It might be worth checking how long it takes, because the ferryman is quite slow. Regardless, Jupiter finishes Fire finishes as Jupiter is waiting for the clock to open. GG's, good race number 1. It was a close one, but Fire pretty much was ahead from the very start and just held on to that lead.
You have been doomed ever since.
Yeah, that save split ended up saving him, but also Jupiter could have just won if he just checked creature. But I understand skipping creature is the meta, which is understandable. That's why these players are choosing. Like, one of the reasons why skipping creature is so safe is because you know that the other person's probably going to skip creature as well. That's the thing about having metas in a randomizer tournament, is that you can like rely on the meta to like help you out in cases like this, but also being anti-meta and thinking one step ahead could be the decision that it takes. Like, I don't know, left side would have won the seed in like 32 minutes, by the way. Left side is still the best side. But these players are not ready to take the next step in the meta and learn the gospel of the left side. But that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. All right, we're going to set up for race number 2. We're going to run some ads. It's going to be just a few minutes, so stay tuned. All right, both competitors have readied up, and we are on to race number 2. They should be getting started here in just a second. Race number 2, Safe Logic. Interesting choice. This is Jupiter's counter pick. Talik, you're just showing up. I missed one. Was it good? Yeah, race 1 was pretty good. It was a very close race, and it came down to both of them skipping creature, and creature had the last Vlad relic. So, of course, already I'm having a great time. Creature skippers in shambles right now. Regardless, this is race number 2. Jupiter said Nimble sucks. I hate this game. Blah, 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 blah. We're playing Safe Logic. Safe Logic is kind of like the stall pick, right? This is like when you counter pick the zoner after you've been getting kind of like beat up. Right? You're just like, this person's just too fast. I need to slow the pace of play down. That's what Safe Logic kind of is. It really is more so just like do you have the mental fortitude to deal with the bullshit that Safe Logic can throw at you? However, the only downside is the last time we saw Safe Logic, we saw 2 Safe Logic races back to back, both of which all had all 5 Vlad relics in the first castle, which is, you know. Will that happen again? Will we see the 3rd all Vlad relic first castle in this tournament series for Safe Logic? We'll find out. We'll find out. Get your predictions in now. We have almost 1 million channel points on the line here. Over 700,000 Garnet coin. This could be the market crash that people keep telling me is going to happen with Garnet coin. I think, however, Garnet coin will continue to rise up and go to the moon. That's just me. And right now, slightly for Jupiter, just having cleaner combat through this hallway. One thing to note about Safe Logic is not only is this the highest complexity preset possible, they start with no extra bonus relics. Jupiter trying to get fancy with the Show Tell secret attack. And they're pretty much tied now, level for level, moment for moment. Another thing to note is you're going to notice that the item sprites that they're seeing on the world, the overworld, in the game. Oh, they started with Duplicator. I didn't even notice. Neither of them checked their items. If they started with Duplicator and a library card, that might have been worth. But I don't know if they checked it. Okay, they did not start with a library card. Jupiter checks. He's like, damn it, I could have fucking... Heaven's Sword. Okay. So, interesting fact. Ooh. Love to see Tooth of Vlad increasing their strength. Interesting fact about Safe Logic is the minimum complexity to complete the seed is 9, which is quite high. That means there are 9 relic steps that you need to acquire before the seed is considered completable. They do find the item Heaven Sword. However, the description said that it was actually the Rune Sword, which means it is the Rune Sword. That's the way that the item randomization works, is that the items will have a description that tells you what the item is, but the item name and the item sprite can be fully randomized. They are randomized within their item tiers, I guess. So, for example, all shields randomized with other shields, all swords randomized with other swords, all equipment items randomized with other equipment items, and then the weapons also randomized within their tiers. So, for example, the throwing swords or throwing weapons that are infinite usage are all shuffled with amongst each other. So if you find something that says Heaven Sword, it's guaranteed to either actually be the Heaven Sword, be the Rune Sword, or to be the Chakram, because those are the only 3 throwable weapons. I think that's the smallest item cluster that exists. By the way, Fire does do the IQ check. Only those with a high IQ know that that check exists, and kind of gets rewarded, finds a shield early. Now, will shield dashing make up for the fact that he spent like 10 million years doing that check? Only those with the highest of IQ will know. And the final prediction value, we're sitting at a true 50-50 with a total of how many points in the pot? About 1 million. We're sitting at about 1 million garnet coin on this one individual race. Who is going to be... We have Matthews with 200,000 garnet coin gambled and Heretic with 131. So those are the two people that have the most to gain here. It'll be interesting to see. Jupiter, however, definitely in the lead at the start of this race, doing less item checks and just in general having a little bit cleaner movement, it seems. Let's go ahead and focus in on Jupiter's audio here. We have the best song in the game playing. You love to see it. And, ooh, another random flat. No, it's not happening again, is it? It's not happening again, right? We're not seeing 5 Vlads in the first castle, are we? Why is my tournament cursed? We don't, it's not cursed yet. We don't know. It could be any combination of relics, okay? 2 Vlad relics doesn't mean anything, right? There could still be Vlad relics in the second castle. We just don't know yet. Jupiter leaves at 5:34, leaves the clock room. Let's see on Fire's timer here. Let's not think about the implications. We're looking at 5:34 for Jupiter. And then almost 5:50. 15 seconds behind already. 15 seconds isn't a massive lead like we saw last game. Jupiter kept about a lag of about 10 seconds, give or take, throughout. Fire can also catch up with that shield, the shield in his inventory if he is able to shield dash well. And his shield dashing speed's not bad, pretty consistent. He's not dropping his shield dashes. That's the most important part. Getting a lot of random item drops. Someone check him luck stat. Maybe using game deficit to get more rare drops. Yeah, let's see how much time save has happened already. We have 36. 636 to the door for Jupiter. I imagine Fire... 48. So saved 3 seconds. Nice. 3 seconds in basically like a couple of rooms because of shield dashing. Now, you extend that over the course of the entire run, that could end up mattering. That shield might end up making the difference. It's almost already saved all the time that it lost him. So shields end up being, I think, an underappreciated aspect of movement in this game. For sure. Especially because people have various beliefs and understandings about how important shield dashing is or how to shield dash optimally and stuff like that. But it's, it is what it is. Ooh, Fire gets lucky with a crit to only 2-shot Doppelganger, but did mess up the infinite, where Jupiter was a little bit more consistent. But still, this is still a close race. This is anybody's game. It will come down to, of course, the relic locations most likely. Jupiter gets a level up there. I wonder, yeah, Fire gets basically the same level up. So they're basically on the same experience route as well. We're not going to see any of them skip extra stuff. Interesting that they choose to check this and go all the way up. This is pretty suboptimal, I would say, right? Oh, but Jupiter's too busy getting stoned. He doesn't mash fast enough, gets hit again, and just like that, Fire's pretty much like even with him. Don't do drugs, kids. Jupiter's also opening this warp where Fire is not, and now Fire's in the lead. Wow. Oh, true. Fire finally gets his first soul steal of the run. You love to see it. I'm surprised neither of them just went to the library outright. Odds are you just go to the library. Your only hard punish is missing out on... I guess you can miss out on Leapstone and missed in Outer Wall. But, like, opting to go all the way up, I don't know. Very interesting. Very interesting routing in general. But yeah, that shield is really coming in handy for Fire right now. Let's see the time difference. We have 29 entering the shop. Gravity Boots in the shop as well. And then 39, almost a 10-second deficit.
Thank you.
Now it comes down to who can speed read the fastest. I don't understand why Fire's still in the shop. Just leave the shop. There's nothing in there. You can't afford anything. Just leave. Why are you still in the shop? You can't afford anything. Why would you waste time in the shop when you don't have the money? And the odds are you might not even come back here anytime soon. I personally, if I don't have enough money, I skim to see if I can find anything of value, and then I just leave. Because odds are you won't have money the next time you come back here, if you come back here at all. And Jupiter takes the lead again, just from reading faster. Jupiter did not buy a shield, however, which is a little unfortunate. Picking up money. Huh? What was in the shop that's worth going back for? Is he buying a shield? Is he going back for a shield?
What can I do for you?
I'm interested in this.
He is. Wow. Wow. Wait, is that Alucard shield? Oh, it was Alucard shield. Never mind. That makes sense. That makes sense. Never mind. Ignore me. No, going back for Alucard shield, that could pay off big time because I don't... Well, Fire probably already bought it. I think he had enough money to buy it, actually, now that I think about it. No, that's fair. I thought it was... Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so never mind. That's not that big of a deal. Fire, again, now in the lead with Gravity Boots and is likely going to be checking Alchemy Lab, right? Yeah, I mean, you just check Alchemy Lab stuff while you're here. I don't think there's anything else to do. Shield Rod is in the shop for 10K. The name of the item said Shield Rod. I didn't see the description, though. Shield Rod is not name locked. No, the description, however, has to be correct. There was Defense Spirit Sword, which is the Maulblung, and that was in the shop for 10K. I did notice that, yeah. So that could be the difference maker. But yeah, Fire, again, with a pretty massive lead. Unfortunate, Jupiter didn't have enough money to afford the shield immediately, and then went back for it. I think it is the highest value possible shield if you're going to go back for one, so I don't necessarily blame him, but does get a little screwed over on money RNG. Fire had enough money to purchase it outright. Jupiter not getting enough money drops from enemies. However, I do think, the more I think about it, it's probably a good thing to have that kind of RNG in the randomizer, right? Hear me out. It allows for skill because of there's the risk reward of you can do more item checks to get more money. Anyways, Fire literally was bringing that up earlier today. By the way, if this was a seed that Fire was literally arguing that the shop relic shouldn't be free, in the seed, he would have had to farm money to buy the gravity boots. Literally brought it up earlier today. What a counterplay enjoyer. The Moblung was actually only 1,500. Ooh, that's quite affordable. I don't know if it's worth going back for without a library card, though. That's going to be a tough one. Just make everything free. So true, bestie. Oh my god, you're so smart. I'm going to assume that God's Child is correct. Yeah, item rando is hard to follow. I do agree. It's one of the reasons why this is a counter pick, actually, is because the item randomization is a very unique aspect that is only available in Safe Logic out of all of the presets. So every preset has like a reason to exist in this tournament. Safe Logic is a pretty standard preset, but it's the only one in the tournament that has the item randomization. I wanted counter picks to feel impactful. Safe Logic is also a potential, what's the word? Just like mental counterpick, which is what I think Jupiter was trying to do with this. Him counterpicking it is like, hey, you have to deal with like a seed that might take, you know, an hour and 15 minutes. Like, do you have the mental capacity to play well that entire time? You know what I mean? Fire might die here. He almost got hit with the hammer. We haven't seen someone die to hammer, bro, since like such a long time ago. Oh my god. And Fire grabs the warp here and then goes this way? I feel like the correct play is actually what Jupiter's doing, which is check this first and then warp back to outer wall from here to go to Castle Keep. Fire, on the other hand, is doing it the other way around, which I feel like is just worse, right? It's also worse if you spend 10 hours in your inventory. Because now Jupiter didn't have to do that backtracking and grabs the warp and does it in a more with tempo. He's grabbing the warp with tempo because he doesn't have to backtrack through that location. He's going back to outer wall. Granted, he's going to have to go through Clock Tower without being able to check Fire of Bat, which is a little unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. He does get extra item checks this way as well that Fire won't have access to, which is another reason why this location might be a little bit more beneficial. That red potion was a mana prism, however. That might end up mattering. Interesting. Yeah, Fire was at risk of dying. Now, not so much, and also has a save to reset back to, so it's not like... Because if he had died right there, it would have been GG's. Jupiter wins that. Like, 16-minute lead, almost 17-minute lead. Like, you can't come back from that in Safe Logic unless you skip literally everything and guess, like, the perfect route. Monster Vial found for Jupiter. I do find it interesting. I think the routes end up converging here a little bit. However, Fire was ahead by like 10, 15 seconds. So Jupiter, I think, just has a better route in this scenario. Fire is using Fire Brand, which is on brand for Fire. Fire Brand, Brand Fire. Fire, Fire Brand. Yeah, I think Jupiter ends up checking the relic first, and I think that relic is guaranteed to be progression, right? Because they've checked everything else up to this point that was blocked by gravity boots. So Jupiter now with advantage here, and also finds a Power of Sire. Very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and focus in on Jupiter's perspective for a little while here. Fighting Karasamon, not necessarily a scary boss, but... people were giving you shit about... Nah, Eldritch, fuck those guys. They're stupid. Yeah, you gotta... Unfortunately, you gotta ignore some of the dumb, negative voices that don't know what they're talking about. But I get you, it does suck. We got Jewel of Open for Jupiter. And Jupiter is likely going to be warping here. Yep, 1858 to touch the door. Okay, this is not that huge of a lead. But Fire was the person that was in the lead and basically threw that lead away to do the route that he did, which is unfortunate. He was like 20 seconds ahead at one point. He probably would still be ahead if he didn't get bonked around. Uh-oh. Hammer Bro strikes again.
Tribute.
Drink water with the sub? Well,
and make them your slaves.
If you insist. Appreciate the 1 year of subbing. Yeah, I think Jupiter is taking advantage of the fact that his general movement with Alucard is quite good. Fire is quite good with it as well. But Jupiter, I think, is just a little bit cleaner. Thank you, Suna, as well, for the 38 months. That's like 12 years. Oh, my God. Jupiter's lack of hair makes him more aerodynamic. It's science. 10 out of 10 comment right there. Holy shit. So true. Because we all know Jupiter looks exactly like Hammer, but with sunglasses on. This is still quite close, and it will likely still come down to some key routing decisions. But I think Jupiter is kind of in his bag right now. He did take advantage of the fact that safe logic sucks. Nobody likes to play safe logic. It is a very potent counter pick for that exact reason. I don't think you can grab that with just gravity boots. I think you need a transformation. Yeah. A little bit of time wasted on Jupiter's end, but he does want the money. That's why he was going to go out of his way to grab it. Rune Sword's good here because you can hit through the wall. But I guess it is tough to set up without double jump, actually, now that I think about it. Doesn't Scylla resist fire, or am I making that up? Still a decent fight for both of these players. Power of Mist, that might end up being their flight, actually. There's a non-zero chance that Mist plus Power of Mist is their flight. Why not go for Succubus? These players cannot. They do not have access to flight. So they cannot check Succubus. Gravity Boots by itself, this is something that a lot of players don't realize, is Gravity Boots on their own is not full flight. It gives you access to one gravity jump from the ground, but you can't do an aerial gravity jump unless you have access to a dive kick. And being in the state that gives you a dive kick can only happen if you have Leap Stone, if you have a transformation, or if you have a Thrust Sword. Jupiter, I think, going for the save split to check Merman, most likely. Whereas Fire is not, so maybe Fire's going straight to the caverns? Or sorry, the catacombs and the mines. Merman can't be anything? That's just wrong. What do you mean? Merman literally can... Oh. No save split from... Can't be nothing. Oh. Oh, you're right. Yeah, it has to be. You're correct. Reading check failed. Sorry. No, please make fun of the guy with dyslexia that he can't read. That's actually super cool and chill of you guys. No, it's actually really nice that you guys do that because I think it like makes for a very inclusive and welcoming environment for me personally. I think the save split is so that way Jupiter could come back later if this is like... No, because this has to be flight, right? Yeah, no, I think that save is actually a throw. To be fair, he has to do a full save animation anyways. Now, the real question is, do you immediately check castle entrance now? Jupiter keeping the lead pretty steady, but it's not very large. This lead could immediately evaporate based off of skipping like one relic check for sure. No, the correct play was to do this check. I forgot that gravity boots is not a prerequisite for entering the mines in logic. So, yeah, both of them are doing this location right now. I guess it makes sense. This is probably like the best time to do it outside of like catching a warp cycle near castle entrance, but you've already done the alchemy lab check, so it's not nearly as good. So the next location is going to be flight locked for these players. Well, a library card would be huge. Good choice. What can I say? Good choice. Immediately finding Mist right afterwards is really, really nice. However, I don't expect these players to take advantage of it. Oh, but they will be able to check Spike Breaker out of logic incredibly easy with Mist and Power of Mist. Yeah. So the correct play is to go back and then to go to Spike Breaker most likely to try and get the out of logic either like high complexity relic or Vlad or whatever it is. No, I think the routes are not going to diverge yet. Also, that was a thrust sword. So funny. Jupiter just picks up a thrust sword, which makes Leapstone completely, not obsolete, but like in logic. Or for these competitors, they could have maybe skipped it. But then you would have missed out on Mist. It's a whole thing. This is the correct play. It's just kind of funny that, you know, they end up with flight anyways. That, by the way, what I was talking about earlier with needing access to a dive kick to do multiple gravity jumps, that's the reason why the Claymore's on the tracker. Because the Claymore is a identification of having a thrust sword, because having the thrust sword gives you access to flight. Fire with not a lot of HP. I wonder what he ends up doing with that. All of the items Jupiter's found has been pretty mediocre. He's at least increasing his damage. Yeah, that's fair. That's one of the nice things about Rune Sword is you could always put it on your offhand and like essentially double your damage. Not a bad decision. However, I think the menuing is... Oh, I was going to say it's giving Fire time to catch up, but Fire also needs to not use a fire-based weapon. Yeah, because Cerberus heals from fire. May absorb damage taken. That's huge. What was that item? Was that Stone Sword? Yeah, Jupiter extending his lead even more now, it seems like. Library card would be big for these players. It was silver plate. I don't know why I read Stone Sword. I only saw the S, and my brain was like, that must mean it's Stone Sword. All right, well, now the question is, will they check Grand Falloon as well? While you're down here, do you check Grand Falloon? They found 2 random Vlads already. Presumably, there's only 2 more random Vlads. Okay, a vial stack now available for Jupiter, just straight up for free. Those 2, it was the monster vial plus the bat pentagram. Not bad. Spike breaker. Oh, not bad. Yeah, spike breaker does make this section a little bit easier. Jupiter also with a decent amount of sellables. So it looks like the progression wants them to find Bat somewhere, find Echo somewhere, come back here to grab Spike Breaker. So Silver Ring ends up being the next in the complexity chain. Wow. So this whole location could have been skipped. Also, that is correct. That is another vanilla item location, which means this seed is null and void. Obviously, this is a randomizer tournament, so if the randomizer isn't random, then what's the point? Yeah, it doesn't count, unfortunately. Jupiter's skipping Grand Falloon. You love to see it. Swarm smiling right now, saying, yeah, no, skip Grand Falloon. That guy sucks. The only downside is if this is a random ring or a random Vlad. Jupiter low-key kind of in a bad spot. Doesn't mean he loses outright if it's a rando ring, because it just means that he might miss out on like Soul of Bat or Echo of Bat or something. But if it's a rando Vlad, that's kind of GG's, it's Jover. But it's nothing. And Jupiter now has a massive lead. Pretty comfy lead, too. Swarm literally smiling right now. Swarm being a huge advocate for skipping Grand Falloon. But at the end of the day, we're all a bunch of degenerate gamblers. Yeah, barring any sort of like huge outplay from Fire, skipping a lot of locations, or huge tragedy on Jupiter's end, this is looking kind of free for Jupiter right now, but we'll see. It's not over till it's over. If Fire gets like a random library card drop, maybe that changes things. Does Jupiter go out of his way to go back to the library now? With Mist? Yeah, he does. So he's probably going to pick up that Malblung then. While he's there, if I had to guess. Left side is a possibility. I don't know if Fire feels ready to go for that kind of gamble, but that is kind of his win con right now. Are we looking at glasses guaranteed here, actually? I think so, right? Because everything else has been, unless glasses is just like a random flight location, which is possible. Because, yeah, Mist doesn't have to lead to anything, actually. Glasses could just be a random flight location. Because Mist doesn't have to be progression if it ends up being at Silver Ring. "32 minutes in. Let's see what we find here." Okay. Decent fight from Jupiter. Kills Lesser Demon before he starts turning invincible and summons the homies. And Fire is like a solid 2.5 minutes behind at this point. Like, Jupiter already left by the 30-minute mark, if I remember correctly. Another sword named Graham could be good. And those are the holy glosses. Okay, so we're sitting at gravity boots into leapstone into gravity boots into Jewel of Open into leapstone into mist into glasses into something that unlocks bat, something that unlocks echo, or bat and echo are on the same layer actually. So something that unlocks bat and echo, then spike breaker, then final Vlad Relic silver ring. No, actually bat and echo have to be on separate layers. So it'd have to be, we're at 5, bat, echo, spike breaker, silver ring 9. Silver ring being the final Vlad Relic. So final Vlad Relic is guaranteed to be at silver ring.
What can I do for you?
I'm interested. I'm interested in this.
Oh, no, you're all right. No, because I guess bat and echo can be on the same layer, like I said earlier. It just means that the rings get involved in a weird way.
Farewell for now.
Or merman gets involved in a weird way. Yeah, so I'm a little presumptuous here. But I think it's fair to say that the silver ring location is required regardless, though. Shield Rod is not Shield Rod. Did Jupiter buy the Maulblung, though? Or am I getting lied to by chat because I wasn't paying attention to the shop? Because we know that Maulblung is 100% in the shop. So Jupiter is full cleared first castle besides Merman, Silver Ring, and Holy Glosses. Is going to Silver Ring right now. Going this way, sure, fair enough. Another Firebrand, wow. It was a Shield Rod? Okay. Regardless, we're going to figure out what Jupiter's using in a little bit here. Oh, this makes sense. He hasn't done All Rocks yet, actually. I forgot. No, he's combining it with All Rocks. That's smart. Yeah, with 2 Rando Vlad still up in the air, that's not a bad idea. We didn't see if that Graham was any good as well. Interesting. Now, will Fire just skip the shop altogether? Because he came here first without going to the shop. Does he not plan on getting the Shield Rod combo? Oh, yeah, Succubus is still on the table, too. Yeah, I forgot about that. I imagine these players are skipping it, though. Double Goddess Shield. Okay, yeah, he's good. How does this work, actually? With 2 Alucard shields, how does this work? Are they both? Do they both? I've never done this. How does this work? He has 2 Alucard shields. Oh, the other one, it's not applied. So he has an Alucard shield that has the shield spell active, and then he has one that doesn't have the shield spell active. That's really funny. I've never tried that before. Nice. So Jupiter's using the double shield tech. Yeah, I'd grab Cube of Zoe too. It's still pretty darn useful. Why not? Stopwatch is nice to have. It could reduce lag in some areas. You could use it for Doppelganger. But yeah, the double shield tech is quite strong. It looks like Fire goes out of his way to grab Shield Rod or something of that kind. Double shield tech, honestly, pretty good. You have shield, the offhand shield that you're using to shield dash. That gives you access to fast shield dashing movement. The other shield is the Alucard shield with the you know, very powerful spell active. However, if you were to swap it, where the Alucard shield is also the shield you're shield dashing with, you're losing MP every time you shield dash. Because every frame that the shield is on the screen with the Alucard shield spell active, you're losing MP and you're losing this internal timer that the game has for how long your shield spell is supposed to last. So you'd be wasting both of those. It is Merman. Okay, so Merman. Oh, and this gives them an excuse to go back to Succubus. Yeah, if Fire had the big brain play to skip all rocks, he'd still be behind, but he would have saved a decent amount of time skipping those two locations. Yeah, this works out pretty well, actually. Because Jupiter will likely go down, check the Gravity Boots location, because I don't think they've done Gravity Boots yet. Then check Succubus, and then check Merman. So he's able to like route this pretty well because of the placement of Merman. Otherwise, Succubus probably would have just been abandoned. Give me Merman into rings. If it's Merman into rings, that means that the second castle has both Bat and Echo of Bat on the same layer, right? Unless this is a complexity 10. Which would be interesting, and I don't even know how that's possible, actually. Because everything after this part of the chain cannot include Bat or Echo, because it's assumed that they already have both. So I think that means Bat and Echo are just in the second castle, yeah? Because there's nothing else to unlock here. Unless both rings and Echo are in the second castle, and then Bat is at glasses. Jupes gets Gravity Boots. Are we sure he didn't do it earlier? I don't remember him doing it. Yeah, there's still too many permutations to be 100% certain. You are correct on that, Matthews. It's tough. It's tough. Jupiter might have just straight up forgot about Gravity Boots, to be honest. This late into the seed, 40 minutes. He might just be tunnel visioned right now. I think that was another Alucard shield, by the way, which is very funny. I could be wrong, actually. I don't... It was another shield that had the Shaman's Shield sprite. Yeah, if Jupiter did skip Holy Glass, or sorry, Gravity Boots location, and the Gravity Boots location has a random Vlad, that's kind of Fire's win con right now. When he backtracks, he has to also check Gravity Boots. We'll know if Jupiter opens his map, though. Ooh. Yeah, Wolf there is not great to find. It's basically nothing. Still very comfortable lead for Jupiter, but things could shake up, actually, because of the Gravity Boots there. What is Fire doing? Fire's going back this way? Is that faster? I guess if you don't have Flight or Bat, maybe it's faster. They're probably about the same. That is one of the nice things about this castle. It's pretty well balanced as far as the distance between things. If there are multiple routes, they end up being close to similar, so you're not, like, super hardcore hurting yourself necessarily by picking a different route. But at the highest level, sometimes picking the objectively correct route is enough to make sure that you're outplaying your opponent. But there's just so many permutations, so it's impossible to know every possible culmination of, like, relic and MP amounts and, like, movement options to know what is exactly fastest every single time. And that's 100% has to be Final Vlad. It's hard to think otherwise. Jupiter, you don't have a library card. Why are you opening your menu? Get out of there. You know you don't got a library card. He was just hoping that one spawned somehow. Does Fire check gravity boots right now? No, Fire also skips gravity boots. Okay. So either they both did it earlier and we weren't paying attention, or they're both just forgetting about it, which is kind of funny. So either we forgot about it or they forgot about it, which is a very interesting spot to be in. I don't know. It feels like a weird skip because it's one of the checks that takes legitimately 15 seconds. And if you're going to skip a relic check, why wouldn't you skip like a later relic check like Creature? Like Creature takes a lot longer. So if you're going to do a random skip, you should probably skip something that's higher value, something that takes longer to do. That's one of the reasons why Creature gets skipped in the first place, is because it's a kind of out of the way check if you do right side. Jupiter's going back this way, which means maybe he remembered that he skipped gravity boots and is going to check it before going through the warp this way. Or he just skips it again. Yeah, he just skips it again, whatever. Okay, fair enough. Matthew's saying that he confirmed that neither of them have checked gravity boots. Well, that was Jupiter's chance to check it again, so that means they literally just forgot. Which is kind of funny, but it happens. This gives Fire a chance to check it again on the way out, but if you skipped it once, you're probably not thinking about it, checking it on the way back. I don't know. I would have opened the map by now to try and like double check to make sure that I didn't miss anything. But these players are not opening their map. Yeah, I don't know. Glancing at the map takes like 2 seconds to like double check everything. You would absolutely not do that. You're wrong. Sorry. I check the map all the time in Safe Logic Seeds. What are you talking about? In fact, I probably check them out more than most competitors. Especially at the highest levels. Because sometimes it's, you know, better to use your current brain resources on, like, the current route, like, that you're doing or the movement that you're doing, and then save, like, you know, remembering exactly which checks you've done. Like, the game keeps track of it for you. So you could unload some of your mental resources to just have the game keep track of it for you. Unfortunate meal ticket, not a library card. I don't think it ends up mattering, because odds are it's a 50-50 that the Holy Glasses location has either Bat or Echo, right? If I'm remembering correctly here. Also, is that supposed to work like that? The shield multi-hits the shaft orb? I thought it didn't multi-hit the shaft orb for some reason. Or did I make that up? Fire's using a warp, yeah. I think this warp ends up being faster, technically, than the one Jupiter did. By, honestly, a decent amount. It's like a minute faster. So Jupiter chose the wrong direction, I think. Gold Ring was in Castle Keep. These players haven't done Castle Keep yet. Pretty stacked lead for Jupiter still, but he did bleed a lot of time by choosing the wrong warp. This is what I meant with like, you know, certain routes you just kind of need to know are faster than others. The one in the mines is like quite a bit faster than going all the way through Outer Wall or going all the way through Alrox's Quarters a second time. Jupiter does remember that you have to reapply the Alucard Shield special once you enter the second castle, specifically because of the cutscene after saving Richter.
Tribute.
Pew pew. Thank you for the 11 months. Much appreciated.
And make them your slaves.
What are we finding here? It is Soul of Bat. left side, left side, left side. Boo! 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 Coward! I'm sorry. Oh, he refilled his mana. I thought he was going to save split it. There is a strat where you can save split left side up to creature as well, and it prevents you from getting like absolutely screwed. It's like secret season 1 tech that I had to pull out in one of my tournament matches. Most people aren't ready for the save split creature check at the very beginning of the game. Or at the beginning of the second castle, that is. It's left side with extra spice. Yeah, these competitors aren't ready for the left side truth. Everyone knows left side is best side, of course. It's the all bosses route, and all bosses is a good speedrun. So therefore, the all bosses route must be good. You know, it'd be like that. Is Fire going to go left? Probably not, right? Fire didn't grab the warp, right? If you grab the warp first, you're kind of posing that you're going to do left side, but library card, I don't think that matters. It's very unlikely that Holy Glasses ends up mattering here. Do it. Do it, you coward. Do it, you coward. Let the dark side take over. Let it flow through you. Boo! Boring. Honk. Me, 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 me. Honk. Me, 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 me. I feel like at least 60% of our races that we found so far, left side ends up being the better route. And yet these players, they don't want to look at the facts, the logic. That, you know what, maybe we should talk a bit about left side. Maybe it's overrated, guys. Left side, there's too many risks involved, like, because there's so many relics that you can find on the right side of the castle, so... you know, it'd be like that. All right, 1 relic remains. Now, the real question is, will they skip creature again? I mean, they have to get that far. It's very possible that Trio or Bees has the final relic, so. Jupiter's grabbing the warp this time? What? Does Jupiter still think it could be first castle? Final Vlad relic?
You steal
Doomers.
souls and
Thanks for the
make them
7 months. I
your
appreciate
slaves.
you too. Appreciate the support. If Jupiter uses the library card after finding Silver Ring, I would be very shocked. Oh, Fire's almost out of MP though. Has to be careful. What happened to his all of his magic's gone? Where'd the magic go? Perfect fight from Jupiter there. I mean, the fight's easy because Alucard Shield makes everything easy, but you know, you still gotta know how to wrangle the trio. Ooh, Power of Wolf. There was a stopwatch there. Jupiter doesn't go back for it. Fair enough. Yeah, that is correct. Fire did have exactly 1 mana prism. To be fair, I don't think they're going to find Duplicator anytime soon. Speaking of mana prisms, wow. And also speaking of stopwatches, Fire already has a stopwatch. So if it comes down to a race to Doppelganger, Fire has advantage, but is also still multiple minutes behind. Huh? Where's Fire going? Is he skipping Bees and Trio? Why? If you're gonna do this, just do left side like a normal human being. What do you mean? What? Oh no. Fire might steal this from this decision. Oh, he thought he had all the Vlad relics! He thought he had all the Vlad relics! Everyone point and laugh! Oh my god! He doesn't know! You know what that is, by the way? You know what that is? Yeah, this is a good lesson on committing. Because if he committed to this route, I think he would still be ahead. Oh, he's gonna save split it. Is he save splitting for, if he save splits for Beelzebub, he's throwing. Yeah, he's just throwing. Like, if you make a mistake, you have to reevaluate your position. Oh, shit, never mind, he's doing it. We got ourselves a tied race. Oh, but Fire has more MP. Oh my god. That is so stupid, but also so insanely hype. If I'm Jupiter and I lose because of this, I'm malding. Oh, but he has the Mana Prism! Is it enough to catch up? Probably not. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Use your Alucard shield! You become invincible when you use it! What is happening? What? Okay, so Fire actually did exactly what I was saying, which is when you make a mistake, you can commit to it. Because if you try and double back around your mistake, you're essentially committing to like a lot more time loss than otherwise. Because Fire turned a route that was absolutely insane, stupid, and dumb, goofy, wild. Because it was a mistake at the end of the day because he didn't have the final Vlad relic when he thought he did. But instead, he's taking that route and saying, you know what? I skipped 2 relics. I hope it works out for me. And now, Fire's in the lead by, like, what is this? 48? 3 seconds! This could come... And it's not like they have better damage than each other. It's going to come down to movement. Primarily, uh-oh. Does Jupiter fall for this bait? He grabs it. Doesn't library card immediately. Things just got very spicy very quickly. Oh! Refilling MP here? Before doing this? Is this even worth it? I don't know if this is worth it. I mean, he'll have more MP on the way back, so maybe? Unless he uses it all right now. It's Echo. So we were correct that Bat and Echo were on the same layer. Wait! If Bat and Echo are on the same layer... then Holy Glasses is random? Also, Jupiter refilling MP was the correct play. Ever so slightly. Actually ended up being close to even. But he was slightly behind, and now he's slightly ahead. So that's insane. That's an insane call. He saved like 3 seconds with that play. Oh, but Fire's movement's a little bit more efficient. Oh, and the level up. If it's another creature seed, I will explode. Oh my god, Fire's movement's just better. Jupiter is like kind of choking some of these like basic wing smashes and stuff. If this is the final Vlad, oh, it's the same seed! It's the J yet again! Wait, we're in the same situation again! It's either a creature or it's Holy Glasses again! How does this keep happening? And that's the thing is Fire, I think, has the save split. Jupiter doesn't. Jupiter has the library card and will definitely check glasses after this, right? So now it's either Fire has the advantage if it's at Galamoth. Jupiter has the advantage if it's at glasses, and then Fire also has the advantage if it's at creature. Again, somehow Fire turned a insanely losing position, multiple minutes behind, makes a mistake, stumbles upon a better route through that mistake, and is now on the verge of winning and has advantage. Jupiter's win con is either outmaneuvered Fire right now and Beelzebub has the relic. Not Beelzebub, sorry. Galamoth has the relic, or what is that? Oh yeah, they have Alucard shield. I forgot. Y'all need to play all bosses, bro. Jupiter has the Aurochs Warp. Fire doesn't. Fire didn't get the Aurochs Warp? Interesting. That could matter as well. It's nothing! It's a 50-50! It's a 50-50. Wait. Fire saved before Beelzebub. Does Fire go check Beelzebub first and Trio first, or does he check Creature first? Reverse Caverns. He's checking Creature first. That's actually the correct play. He's committing to his route. It's in God's hands now. It's in God's hands. There's nothing these players can do other than hope that their decision was correct. If it was Beast, he would have already lost. That's not necessarily guaranteed. You could assume that your opponent made a routing mistake. But I think you can be confident that it's not Bees to a certain extent, but it's not guaranteed. So I think you are correct in that decision making, though. Yeah, it's more likely that it's not at Bees or Trio. Oh my god. If it's Creature twice in a row and that's how Jupiter loses, he's gonna be so mad. Not really. I think Jupiter's actually a really good sport about this kind of stuff. But also, that would be very poetic. Because Jupiter was the originator of creating the first controversy in routing this game, which is Creature Skip. There was some left-siders season 0, but when Jupiter started skipping Creature and winning, everyone was like, this is a gimmick, it's silly, you're gonna end up losing because of this. And Jupiter essentially went, oh, it doesn't matter! It doesn't matter! Never punished, except for that one time he was punished. Dude, the random Vlad being at Holy Glasses is insane. So now Fire thinks, oh, fuck, it's at Beelzebub, and I skipped them on accident. There's no way he's going back to the first castle because he doesn't have Silver Ring anymore. It's over. It's Jover. GG's. Jupiter wins. Wow. Sometimes you just got to get the coin flip. You know what I mean? Jupiter's entire tournament career rested on that coin flip. It was truly even odds between Creature and the Holy Glasses location. And Jupiter, finding the library card when he did, gave him access to this route. So he took it, and it ended up being right. Wait, what? Gravity boots! It was gravity boots the whole time! Jupiter, open your map! Jupiter, open the map! It was they both... Wait! Jupiter, open the map! Jupiter, open the map! Open the map! I cannot believe this shit. I cannot believe that they both forgot gravity boots. I can't believe it. And it ended up being the final Vlad. Everyone forgot about gravity boots. We all forgot about gravity boots. Oh yeah, Jupiter did skip Grand Falloon. This is, you know what? At this point, I got nothing to add. I have nothing. What can I say? Oh, that's actually Fire has his own timer cut off. That's funny. I was wondering if it was my end. Wow. I mean, Fire will have to use the card eventually. You know, like, there's no amount of logic, reasoning. So the thing is that sucks here is like Jupiter ended up counterpicking himself because safe logic is the preset that's meant to like kind of throw your opponent for a loop. It's like not insanely intuitive. The skips can be very brutal, as we can see now. Skip meta. To be fair, it was an accidental skip, but still skip meta. Because they skipped all of these checks, they have to be like, oh man, I messed up. I skipped one of those checks. I got unlucky. Meanwhile, the check that they both skipped was just random. Fire opens the map. Fire knows how the map works. He doesn't remember where Silver Ring is, though. Does he remember where Silver Ring is? If he remembers where Silver Ring is, there's a chance. Otherwise, he has to like backtrack through everything. Yes, he remembers. Reverse Caverns. But he doesn't have the library card. Jupiter, you legit just need to open your map. Open your map. Map, 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 map. Open the map. Did he not map the button itself? Does he know that the select button opens the map in Castlevania Symphony of the Night? Does his controller not have the ability to do so? How are you so confident that you checked everything? I think Fire wins this. Unless Jupiter literally needs a come to Jesus moment right now. Where's Jupiter going? He's going to the second castle, most likely, to go check Creature. He's going to find that Creature has nothing. He's going to be confused. He's going to think that the seed is bugged, when in reality, he just has to open the map! This is the best race of all time. This is an all-timer. To be fair, I get to sit pretty because I would also be struggling in a race like this most likely. I think most people would, especially in a competitive setting. Mistakes happen. This is not a blanket you're not allowed to make fun of these players, okay? Anybody in chat right now who's trying to make fun of these players, just know that they would smoke you. They would roll you. They would give you a wedgie and a swirly at the same time. Except for me. I obviously am perfect. I would have checked the map. Therefore, I would have won the race. So, I win. I didn't have... I would be playing, but also, like, my hand hurts. My controller... I have the wrong controller. It's not... Otherwise, I would totally be winning. For real. On God. No cap. Wait, is Fire going for Creature? Didn't he already check Creature? Or is he going for the Warp? What is he doing? Where's Fire going? Oh, he doesn't have the entrance warp. The Castle Keep warp, I mean. So he's going this way to get to Castle Keep, I guess? I don't think Jupiter has any extra save splits either. I can't believe they both forgot Gravity Boots. That's wild. I think Fire ends up winning this because he goes back to first castle, gets confused, and probably opens his map because he's already opened his map like 3 separate times during this race. Jupiter, I don't even think has the map like bound to a controller button because I haven't seen him open it once. And Jupiter would be the type of person that's like, oh, I just don't have map like bound on my controller. I never use it. Like, why would I bind it in the emulator? That doesn't make sense. Jupiter is that kind of guy where you ask him like, so why didn't you open the map? Oh, I just never, why would I? Fire got the warp. That is quite good. Yeah. Why is the map so important? Because if they opened the map, it would tell them the locations they haven't checked yet. Instead of running around like with a chicken with head cut off. Because Jupiter has passed by the final Vlad relic 6 separate times and didn't check the location. What is safe mode? It is how do I even begin? You're an hour and 8 minutes late to that explanation. I'm sorry. You're going to have to watch the VOD. Right now is not the time to explain what safe mode is. More or less, it's hell, and Jupiter has no idea what's going on. Oh, you do have the map open! You can use the map, huh? Oh, now you know how to use the map! Oh, that's crazy! That's wild! Oh, that's crazy, man! Wow! Maybe go back to the first castle and check if you missed something. Jupiter just doesn't know what to do. He thinks the seed is bugged.
Tribute. You steal men's souls.
And that's the thing. Fire's going to enter the... What is he doing? Are they both giving up? Come on! What is he... Is he looking for a library card? Now the question is, will Fire open the map right now? No. So, I think Jupiter still has a chance. He needs to move faster than anyone has ever moved before. He does have the warp that is next to, he has the All Rocks warp. Jupiter needs to go to the first castle. But Fire opens the map. He might check it first. If Fire checks Gravity Boots first and doesn't check Holy Glasses first, I think he wins. Jupiter needs to stop getting stoned right now. He opened the map. He saw. He used the secret technique. Jupiter needs to go. He needs to warp there. And he needs to hope that Fire checks Silver Ring or Holy Glasses first. Otherwise, Fire wins. Jupiter's doing movement he's never done before in his life. He's never had to take this route in his career. Oh my God. There's just no way. There's just no way. Oh, he's putting on the rings. He's putting on the rings. Does he do the glitchless tech where you start checking Gravity Boots before checking? Because you wait for the floor to open up, and while it's opening up, you actually go up and check Gravity Boots. It's like slightly optimal. Now you open your map, Jupiter. Now you open the fucking map. God, this would have been over 15 minutes ago. But we did get the best race of all time. I think this is... Jupiter might win this. Jupiter might win this race. Somehow, some way, he avoids every location in the entire game, never opens the map, and I think he's still going to win this because he has the warp next to Aurochs' quarters. Fire must be so confused how Jupiter hasn't finished yet, by the way. Because I think Fire doesn't have a library card. Jupiter doesn't have a library card. Fire's going to grab the relic first by about like 5 seconds. Jupiter is closer to the final location by about 5 seconds. Let's check the timers, guys. 49. Six seconds. Okay. 6-7 seconds difference. So Jupiter needs his movement to be better. And he needs the warp to carry his ass. I cannot believe it is this fucking close. I cannot believe it is this fucking close. In theory, Jupiter wins because of the reverse Aurochs warp. However, if he beefs his movement really, really bad, and Fire moves like a god, I think it's still possible that Fire can win this. However, I think Jupiter still has the advantage. My microphone stand is like so mad at me for moving the mic so much, but I can't, dude. I cannot. We have two of the very best randomizer players to ever do it. And to see them do this just warms my heart. It just warms my heart. It warms my heart. I think I have to hold my microphone because my... Oh, okay, it's good. That's what I get for buying like a $20 mic stand for my $300 microphone. So, you know what? Safe logic is a really good counter pick if you want to do this mental torture to your opponent. So, however, the downside is they'll get to decompress after this race if Jupiter wins, and they're going to have to reschedule for race number 3. They do not plan to do all 3 races today. This was only scheduled for 2 races, so that does give Fire a chance to like recompose for the next race. But that means more content for us, baby, and that's great for us. They're going to run out of the spell in the middle of the fight. If that happens, I will explode. I will pee myself live on stream and then explode. I'm not going to ask for them to chat after this race because the set isn't over. That's kind of not good manners in my opinion because they still have another set or another race to play after this, and it's going to be at a different time. I'm sure we'll hear about it, though. We'll hear about it. Hey, if you want to ask what Jupiter and Fire were thinking, you guys can give them a follow. You can click their names in the title of the stream right now. Give them a follow. Watch their streams next time they go live. And ask them about it. Just be like, hey, so about that race, safe logic, huh? I'm sure you'll get them talking about it. Oh, my God. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can find them as well in the description of the video. I'm making sure to put the racers' Twitch channels in the descriptions of all the videos. You could subscribe to me, I guess, while you're down there. You can follow my Twitch channel as well. I stream all the time. Yeah, Jupiter with a massive advantage here. Much more than 5 seconds. It was honestly not as far away as I expected, but it's still probably like a 30-second advantage, right? This does mean we get a game 3. Good news. Bad news, it won't be right away. We're going to have to wait for it. Other good news on top of that is this gives the players time to think about what they've done. Think about the absolute inhumane war crimes in Symphony of the Night randomizer racing that we just had to witness. In the best possible way. They both skipped gravity boots. How does that happen? It's crazy to me. I understand why it happened because they got flight in an awkward spot where they already had the All Rocks warp. And in most people's mind, if you've already cleared Alchemy Lab and you've already cleared All Rocks, in your mind, you're like, oh, that means I've already done gravity boots because the standard route has you doing all those at the same time. But they had a very strange route that had them do gravity boots, checks. It's wild. It's wild. I could recap it, but it doesn't matter. Jupiter wins. Congratulations. I can't believe it was this close. I cannot believe it. Instantly end stream, by the way. Instantly end stream. GG's. Oh my God. Literally the race of all time. Jupiter's literally in chat right now. You both had the race of the century. This is the race of all time. Probably one of the best spectator experiences I've had in a race scenario like this. I cannot believe it. I literally fell out of my chair twice, almost. Once for sure. But in my brain, I feel like I fell twice. GG's. Minute difference. So it turns out the warp difference is about a minute. The seed sucks so bad from Fire? No! Skill issue. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to be nice to the competitors. However, blaming the seed there is definitely not the issue. It was 100% a skill issue. Oh my God. But the fact that they both made the same mistake is so funny. It's so funny and amazing. Anyways, subscribe on YouTube, watch live, twitch.tv/DragonBlitz. Oh my God, I'm tired. We're going to keep streaming, but if you missed this live, you got to follow the live stream. You gotta. All right, see you later, YouTube. Have a good one. Bye-bye.